of the Hammer, a podcast about Warhammer by Games Workshop.
Hello, Hammerheads. Welcome back. We are on episode 41. Deep into the 40s now. So, early into the 40s. Deep into the number of episodes, I guess. Now, I never thought we'd get to episode 41. But
people still listen.
Yeah, people actually listen to us. That's a real amazing thing. And we actually have more than just one or two, I was told by one of our fans that replied after, I think it was the last episode. But as per usual, we are brought to you by the South Georgia War Games Association. The SGWA is where the best miniature players in South Georgia get their game on. We are also brought to you by Broken Brush Gaming, and Wes, you know that's your cue.
Broken Brush Gaming is a local commission paint service located here in South Georgia. If you're looking to have an army painted, or if you have questions about painting your army, you can hit me up on Twitter at broken_brush, or shoot me an email, brokenbrushgaming@gmail.com, and I will do what I can to help you out.
As per usual, Wyatt's with us again. This is your second
one. I was here for 40.
Yeah. So welcome back. We're glad to have you. Tila couldn't make it again. So
she's got to work.
Yep, she is working today, and we are obviously late getting the episode out. We have had, life has gotten in the way. I, of course, was gone to Origins, which I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. Got back, we were going to record, and Wes had a bout with pneumonia, and had to fight that off. Then we were going to record earlier actually we were going to record yesterday, and my wife's aunt passed away, so we had arrangements to work on yesterday and earlier today. This is Saturday the 30th for those of you, because you're not going to know when we're actually recording.
It's a good day to record, though. It's release day.
It is release day for second edition. Which actually brings us to our topic choice. We decided that it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to just kind of recap the history of the game Age of Sigmar and how it rolled out of Warhammer Fantasy and now us approaching second edition. But before we get to that, everybody say hey to the fans. I didn't let y'all say hello, so we'll start with Seth.
I'm Seth. I'm still here. Somehow.
We're not getting rid of you, Seth. Wyatt kind of already spoke, but he's here again. And then Wes is recording while very busily putting together models.
My new army.
Tell him, we'll get to that in a minute.
You're not the only one.
All the drama,
your people.
all the drama of the last 6 months. What am I doing?
We're gonna have to change it.
Yeah, Wes just can't make up his mind what army he wants to play.
It's made at this point. For a while, at least.
But I feel the pain. I'm always wanting the new crack.
I think he was waiting on Games Workshop to make up his mind for him, and with the release of GHB 2018, they did.
Yeah. And we're going to get to all of that somewhat right now, because why don't we just go ahead and roll into hobby, books, movies, etc. I'll actually start us off this time because mine's not going to take too terribly long. All of my hobby money for, at least the next month or so, was spent a couple of weeks ago when I went to Origins with my daughter and son-in-law, and we had a blast. We were flying, so I did not take my miniatures, so we did mostly role-playing and tabletop games, but we had an absolute blast. I did get over to the miniatures area and walked through several times, and I don't know, I never actually looked at the schedule. I don't know if they just didn't have an Age of Sigmar tournament. They usually do, so I'm pretty sure they probably did. Or if it just wasn't at the times that fit when I was able to get over there, because there were only like 2 days I had time to get over to the area where the miniatures were played. But I did get to see some 40K tournament going on, and lots of really cool looking armies going on there. Lots of models and such to look at in the vendor section, Games Workshop and otherwise. Some really amazing stuff, and obviously I spent way too much money there, but
Gotta save that money for Cabin Con.
I got CabinCon covered. That's
been
already been
covered.
set
Yeah, I know,
aside.
right?
Yeah,
Thankfully.
that's
So
already
expensive.
established. Which I don't think our fans know about CabinCon. I don't know if we've mentioned it, but
We did.
I don't think we'll have
In
vendors at
passing,
CabinCon.
I guess.
But as far as hobby, that's pretty much it. I did a lot of gaming at Origins. It's an amazing convention. If you haven't been to it, try to get to it. It's definitely one of the ones that should be on your bucket list if you're a gamer. It's not. There's miniatures. There's a good bit of miniatures there of all different types, but it's not a miniature specific convention. It's just gaming in general. So
I
a
don't know if
lot
I
of fun.
I don't know if I could do that. I mean, a full 4 days of role playing, all those different personalities. I don't know if I would know who I was at the end of the.
That's what we're going to be doing in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel sorry for the ride back because I'm not sure who's going to leave. I know who's going to show up, but I'll leave.
I mean, it's like by the end of day 2, after you got 3-4 hour sessions a day, and at the end of day 2, I told Tiffany and Jared that, look, day 3 we want a light day, because if you don't, you're just your brain's just going to be fried before the end of that day, and you're not really going to enjoy it anyway. So we kind of scheduled in a lighter day. Instead of 3 games, we had 2.
Oh, man.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a lighter day.
Lighter.
Get
But
that break in the middle.
yeah, that's right. It's really important. You had to have some shopping time too. But so that was it for me. Books read. I haven't finished it yet, but from the Kickstarter for Numenera, the Discover Your Destiny book released. And it's kind of a novelette. So they finally started releasing some of the stuff.
Very nice.
I just downloaded it last night, and I've just barely started the process of reading it, and should have it finished before the next time we record the podcast, because it's not very long. But looking forward to reading that and getting a feel for the new Numenera, which I think the flow of that is going to work pretty well. We played in a demo of it at Origins.
Ooh.
And the new method of when you exert effort, if the rules mimic what we did with the playtest part at Origins, not really playtest, but kind of like a pre-release game,
Yeah.
it's only 1 point to exert effort.
Oh, that's good.
So you don't tap into your health so horribly.
Yeah. You don't kill yourself trying
Trying to
climb a
get
stair.
something done. Yeah. So I think it's going to flow much better and easier. And the rule for the player intervention instead of just GM intervention is pretty cool.
That's gonna be really neat.
So, but we had a lot of fun playing that game too. Movies, not much. My wife got for me for Father's Day and for her, because you both have to have one. Movie Pass. I don't know if y'all have heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so we got Movie Pass. Those cards came in, and we were actually planning to go see a movie today, and then life happened. But we're looking forward to getting to movies more regularly together.
I think we're gonna end up doing that just because.
I mean, just $10 a month per person. You can go see as many movies as you want to.
Is it 10 a month?
$10 a month.
Because
Yep.
I guess if you see one movie a month, you've paid for it.
You've paid for it. Yeah. So if you just go see one, if you go see one a week,
Yeah.
you're doing great, and you literally could go in 1 week. You have to come out and re-register for a new movie with the app. So you can't just like go in and just have them swipe the card again. So you'd have to come out, re-up for the next movie, go back out, swipe, get the ticket, and go back in. But I don't know if you can do it the same day though. There might be a limit
I
of
think
one
it's
per
one a
day.
day. It
I
used
think
to
it's
be
one
just
per
one
day.
a day.
Yeah, I think it's one per day.
When it was $100 a month, it was you could see whatever you wanted to.
Yeah.
But
I would.
who wants to
Who
pay
wants to pay
$100
that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to really want to just see everything in the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, given there's a lot of movies I still need to watch, but
Not
Yeah,
$100
yeah.
worth.
No. I would never do $100 for $10 a month. Like I said, if you see one, you paid for it.
I'm over here saying $100 is a lot of money, and there's like Soul Wars box sitting in front of
sitting
me.
in front of you.
Well, yeah, but you only had to
Well,
buy
that's
that.
why $100 for movies is a lot of money.
That's very true.
yeah, you bought
yeah.
that once and you got it.
That's me though. That's my hobby. Gaming convention, new novelette to finish reading, and getting Movie Pass. Hadn't seen movies recently, but so why don't we go to Seth? You got you and Wes have a lot to talk about.
Let's let Wyatt go next.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really like Mike said. There's just life got busy. I don't really have anything to go off of. I don't know what are all the criteria that I can cover. Books.
Any hobby projects,
Anything that's not
books,
Yeah, anything
movies,
that's not work.
Okay.
Netflix, TV series,
Gotcha. Okay.
anything. Yeah.
Well, I picked up the Butcher with the Cauldron. Really looking forward to getting him in the fight with GHB 18 now. See how that goes. Maybe I can actually get off some of these endless spells. I don't know quite yet how that works.
You gotta have them first. I'm not gonna let you borrow mine.
Fair.
Yeah, the new Butcher is going to be gross with the 30-inch unbind range, and then, I unbound it, take some mortal wounds, because I don't
Yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
Just because of who I am.
Yeah, just because of who I am. Pretty sure that's the right model. Somebody will correct me.
No, that's from my understanding. I don't know if it's changed in 18 yet, but
There's no telling.
But no, so I picked up the Butcher. Picked up a new PlayStation game. I guess that's really the only other
yeah.
thing.
Hey?
Picked up the new Jurassic World game on
The
PlayStation.
VR one or the park one?
The park one.
Oh, yeah, that looks really fun.
It's
And I'm over here sitting in a dinosaur shirt, like, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
starting.
Except that dinosaurs just break out of the fences all the time and kill your visitors.
I thought that was the point of the game.
I mean, kinda.
That's what all that happened in Genesis, and this is really just Operation Genesis remolded 15 years later. But it's starting off good. You have like 5 different parks that you can run at once that you switch back and forth from. They're all different stages. It's pretty fun.
I would not even do any of that. I would just make the coolest dinosaur ever and then let it loose in the park.
You can't
to kill
do that at
everything.
the very beginning. You have to have like all 5 islands.
You have to build
in
up your
order
resources to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need additional pylons. Come on.
Yeah, but I mean,
Some
it has
truck
Jeff
dinosaurs.
Goldblum talking down to you the entire game, which is also
does?
great.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That-
awesome.
I would
That's
play
the
for
best
that.
part.
I would play it for that.
That's why I would play it.
Then it has what's his name? People gonna hate me because I can't remember his name, but the main actor in the last Jurassic World, Ryan Reynolds.
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt.
Ryan Reynolds. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Chris
You're probably
Pratt.
just thinking about
Deadpool
Ryan
too.
Reynolds.
Yeah,
And
they're
no
both
one
just
will
pretty.
blame
That's
I
all.
mean, they're gorgeous human being.
Exactly.
But Chris Pratt, I don't know if it's his voice, but it sounds similar to him, and it's got his picture up there.
It's probably his voice.
And it's just, he's talking about, like, sometimes you just have to let dinosaurs do what dinosaurs do, even if that means, taking a little bit of penalty because someone dies. Like,
All the time.
but, no, it's fun so far. Picked it up yesterday, so just
Nice.
kind of getting into it.
Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing the Butcher together.
Yeah, the Butcher, I'm really looking
I don't
forward
want to see that.
You don't want to see
I
it?
don't want to see that.
I want to see it
I don't want
together.
to see Beast Claw either.
You just don't want it to be on the opposite end of the board.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to see it together. I do not want to face it, but I want to see it together.
Which, not to interject on your stuff, Wyatt, but I watched some of the 24-hour live stream that they did for the release of Soul Wars, and one of the battles that they had, if it hadn't have been midnight, I would have texted you, Beast Claw Raiders versus Maggotkin of Nurgle. And
nice.
instead of running the heavy monstrosity list, he went the opposite route and had 14 Mournfangs and
That's
2
disgusting.
stone horns, and then a shaman with the mushroom shaman as his unbind machine, and it was hilarious. I mean, you've got the Maggotkin that can run and charge with the feculent narmals, and then the Beast Claw Raiders that can run and charge just because they want to. And literally it was the first turn. Like, who gets the first turn? Because you're going to get charged.
Yep.
Regardless of what happens, you're going to get charged. It was great.
Unless on your turn you move away from me and surrender all the objectives.
Yeah, right.
You're going to get charged.
Oh, and I know everyone has seen it because I've seen it like 15 times now, but the battle plan, and I want to play it, but it's the moving objective where they put the objective in the middle, and then at the end of round 1 they roll a dice.
The
and it
relocation
moves.
orb?
Yes. Which I like relocation orb, but I like bouncing squig better because I saw someone use a squig model for it, and it just
Nice.
bounced everywhere. And on a 1 or a 6, it moves again.
Yeah, the
and
one
on
where
a
they
1
had
or a
the
6, it moves
The
again.
one where the guy that used like a little turtle model.
Yeah.
That one was funny.
I want to play that one so bad. I've seen it so many times. But
I hate those games. I hate those objective games.
Why? They're always going to bounce right towards you.
But because my army is so
Dwarves.
freaking slow.
Well, I mean, this is death we're talking about. I'm talking about wanting to see
Yeah.
it. So.
Although,
I mean, don't get me wrong. They're fun, but when they bounce to the other side of the table, if I have 5 full rounds to run, I might get there.
no, because he's just going to shackle you the whole time.
It's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
For 20 points, I can constantly cast Shackle. That's nasty. I do like picturing that one, though, as this orb shimmers as dwarves run at it, and then it shimmers a little faster as dwarves run at it faster, and then right before they get there, it goes shook and disappears. And then on the other side of the board, it reappears, and then they just turn around, and then run.
Start running again. Yep.
Yeah, I do like that.
Because that's pretty much what it would be.
That's a nice video.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I mean, no, not about hobbies.
All
I
right.
think I'm good.
So I'll let you guys fight it out. Who wants to talk first? Because y'all both have a lot to talk about.
I mean,
We can
Go
just
first.
tell them what we did last night.
well, I mean, let me. Cause I've got some other stuff from the last couple of weeks with the DOK project that's coming along. It's nearing completion. Working on Marathi right now, which that model is amazing.
Yes, it is.
It's a real pain in the tuchus to put together.
Looked like it would be.
But I've got it assembled. I've got it primed, and I've got the some of the base layers down on the snake and the wings, and gonna do some nifty stuff with the wings with some airbrushing and some gradients and stuff. So that's coming along. I got the bases in, so probably this evening I'm gonna mount those up on big paint sticks and just go to town with rattle cans to get them primed and get the colors on. The client that had Brian from Nova, he did the bases with Sculpey, and so it's like Broken Temple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked pretty cool. And like I said, they just came in or late this couple of days ago. I think Thursday they got here. So those are going to be fun to paint up and get going. So that's what I've done hobby-wise there. Read a little bit more of the Autumn Republic, which is the third book in the Powder Mage series. Strangely enough, you would think that I would have finished reading a book while I took a week off from work with pneumonia, but no, I just slept all day instead.
Yeah,
Because that was more beneficial.
Yeah, you don't. I've been close to that before, and yeah, pretty much all you feel like doing is sleep.
Yeah, that's what I did for a week. It was interesting. But let's see. What else? I finally watched... I did, when I wasn't sleeping, I watched season 1 and 2 of Rick and Morty, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny.
I
can just imagine that he's watching it and starts to laugh, and then gets, gets choked in a coughing fit.
No, because it was trying to laugh like, oh god, that hurt so bad.
Stop being so funny.
Yeah, but now I'm on the mend now, so still.
And it's good to have you feeling better.
Well, it's good to be talking Warhammer again. We took a while.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that's what I've been doing. What about you, Seth? Other than before we jump into the last night shenanigans.
Let's see. I did put together some more of the death stuff that I had before, some more hex rates and stuff like that, just because I'm planning on a cavalry list for the new Night Hunt, because they've got more cavalry coming out, and then they've got the hex race, and they got the Knight of Shrouds on horse. I just want an all cavalry list, just because I think that would be hilarious. So I've been putting that together. I watched Incredibles 2. Because
that's one of the first movies my wife wants us to go see.
It was amazing. If you haven't seen it, why not? I understand some people get pneumonia or something like that and they don't go see it. But,
right.
Other than that, it was fantastic.
So I take it that was you and Tila?
No, she
No,
was
just-
unable to go.
Oh, wow.
I actually went with my niece for her birthday party. My sister, brother-in-law, my parents, and little niece went, and we all watched it together. And Tila actually had to work, so she hasn't seen it yet, so I get to go see it again.
We got to get her a new job.
I'm trying. Every day. That way she can actually put models together. And we've played a couple of games, like at home when we get some time. We'll put some stuff on the table.
Yeah, she's sent a few messages, via
beating
messenger
me.
of, and being pissed about your units coming back.
Yeah. I will say, if you have not played the against the new legions of Nagash, where they can spend one command point and bring back an entire summonable unit in a graveyard, it's nasty. You think you're winning, and then no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're absolutely not. You just played into my hands quite effectively. So,
But that's so Nagash, too.
it really is.
It really is.
I don't care that we can't summon anything anymore, because that is more thematic to me than anything.
Yeah.
I'm not just pulling skeletons out of the ground so much as like just reanimating those that were dead again.
Yep.
Like, no, they're not really dead. They'll be back in a minute.
You just knocked them down. They're getting back up.
Yeah, I just got to find my arm, and then I'm right back in it.
Yeah.
So that's all I've done.
Crawl around, found my head.
Yeah, put it
Stick
back on.
Real, Ash and the Living Dead kind of.
Yeah.
Was it not? No, not Army of Darkness.
Army
Real
of
Army of Darkness style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the land of the living. Grab a shovel and get to work.
So that's all I've done until last night, which me and Wes went.
Yeah, jump into it.
Schoolgirl
Yeah,
excitement on it.
So our friendly
Okay,
local game store.
First of all, before y'all start with this, we of course were supposed to record last night, and I thought my timetable was going to work out pretty good. We actually scheduled it, arranged, and like literally last minute, I think it was probably 30 minutes before you guys were supposed to show up here. I had to send a message. We had a bunch of family show up because of the circumstances that we didn't necessarily know were going to show up, but weren't surprised. So I had to message them and say, "Yeah, hey, sorry guys, I can't. I'm gonna have to be here up front with Shannon and Verna with the family and everything." And so, I said, "But if you guys want to borrow anything, go ahead and do some recording." And I think it was Wes mentioned, well, if we can get your Yeti mic and one of the cameras, we can do a stream of the unboxing.
Yep, that was the plan.
So Seth came by and picked up the camera, picked up the microphone.
Best laid plans of lazy men. Is that,
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
like
Yeah. So have at, guys.
Well,
We'll give you the link for the stream. Never, and you'll find out why
right now. So this is the thing. As previously mentioned, I am recovering from pneumonia, and so I took a nap on purpose Friday afternoon. I was like, I'll take a couple hours nap. I'll that way I can stay up a little late, because Thunder it is technically the 30th at midnight. So
right.
we showed up at midnight.
Release date was the 30th, so
They're still running Friday Night Magic, so we showed up at midnight to pick up our boxes. Little did I realize that I was still pretty tired.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm probably just going to ramble if we try and do any of this. And so I was like, we'll take photographs. And I took about 4 or 5 pictures as I unboxed. And then I just forget to pick up the camera and take pictures, and just like, look at all the plastic crack. And so,
I just have this mental image of, as y'all are going through and pulling the stuff, that the excitement builds and builds until it's just a kid at Christmas.
That's what I was
yeah, like passing War Scroll cards back and forth and be like, holy crap, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like, it is that A Christmas Story, when they're opening up presents and the little kids just running around screaming, "That's mine! That's mine!" Because that's exactly what I did the whole time. I'm like, "Ooh!" But I did take pictures, and I got all the way to the point where I realized I just got a new phone because my other one broke. So I transferred everything over. It does not transfer passwords.
Oh.
So I added the Age of the Hammer on Twitter from my personal Twitter, the pictures that I took, because I couldn't post from that one because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't going to text you, hey, what's the password?
But you could if I was up.
And so I just did that. So if you want to look at that, that's the excitement before I completely forgot what I was doing and lost myself in the plastic crack.
Because by the time we got to... Seth had already opened up his box with the miniatures, and because he started... I did not eat dinner because of my nap, so I was having a snack before Seth started opening his, and then I started opening mine, and we got to the miniatures, and it was just like, rah! And then we started, because what we did is we bought 2 boxes, and this is where my new army comes in. I gave Seth my Night Haunt, he gave me his Sacrosanct Chambers, so I'm playing Stormcast.
Yeah.
Which
hence Wes is playing Stormcast now.
Which is why I'm putting together Stormcast right now. I had talked about playing Stormcast a while ago.
Yes, you had.
Didn't really like the play style, as it were. But as I watched more and more of the people doing pre-release, they got their box early and were playing, I was like, Stormcast with spells are kind of cool.
Yeah. Sigmarines, now with spells.
Yeah. Now with Librarius.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw something at you.
Yeah. No, and plus the new models are I really like the way that the new ones look with the robes.
Yes.
Did you throw something at me if you want to that makes them look even more like Dark Angels? Like they got bulky armor and they wear robes? No, this isn't happening.
You cannot model the new lion mounts to be motorcycles. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you can't do that.
Can I not make my own storm host and say that the leader's name is the lion, though? Can I do that? Is that allowed? But no, so I decided to play Stormcast, and it worked out. I mean, because originally we were just going to split one box.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, so if we do the split on that, I give Seth $60 just to take the Stormcast parts, and then I got to pay $60 to get a rule book. It's like for $40 more, I could just get 2 sets of the army.
Right.
So we just each bought our...
And that's the thing for anybody that's on the fence about getting the Soul Wars box. It's ridiculously worth it if you play either one of these armies.
Or if you want to play them.
Or if you want to play them. If you want to get into them, just in general, they are push to fit. For those that are not amazing at putting models together and painting, like me, it's great. It's fantastic. You just clip them off the sprue, put them together. It's click by numbers.
It's so pertinent what you're saying right now. Is I clip out the push to fit parts from the Stormcast.
Yes.
That's why I say normal people, I guess.
Because people who are really detailed modelers,
OCD,
i.e. Wes,
OCD is the
are
word.
going to prefer to manipulate them and fit them together themselves.
Which apparently there's a way to do that. I didn't realize. I thought push to fit was push to fit, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason they push to fit is because you got the little bars and holes that everything goes together. Sure. You just clip the bars out, then you get to glue the seams together like, the good Lord intended.
Well, you could glue the seams together even if you're pushing to fit.
Except for when you get so much friction that they won't push to fit anymore, and then your fingers are bleeding from pushing them.
You got to work on the hand strength.
That's right.
So you need chainmail gloves.
Your hands got soft while you were recovering from pneumonia.
That's what it is. They're super easy to put together. They come with a hardback core book, which itself is $60.
Beautiful book.
So,
beautiful book.
And I would recommend getting the core book because, it's got a ton of information in it in general.
And our long-term listeners know we are fluff guys.
Yeah.
There is
fluffers.
There is so much good fluff in
PG, man. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Forget that.
PG means they don't know what that is.
Fair.
We hope.
That was the other reason we didn't record last night, because me and Seth both kind of looked at each other and were like,
that is very
without
true.
Mike here, this is really going to be hard for us to be PG.
I said some things as soon as I opened up the box.
It would have been Age of the Hammer After Dark for sure.
Yeah. After midnight, I'm not responsible. So...
we probably could get away with doing a session like that sometime.
Just
and
put it on a different
label
channel.
That one explicit.
Yeah.
But although that might get some people upset that are just subscribed and that explicit one just downloads.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Instant. It comes with a little ruler though. It comes with everything you really need: a ruler, core book,
dice,
12, 16 millimeter dice.
No, 14 mil.
14mm dice.
Yeah, they're in between your normal chess exercise dice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually feel really good in
Yeah,
the hand. I
they
wish more
really
people would
do.
make dice in that size. They're really nice.
They just don't roll. Well, wait, no, never mind. That
No,
was me
no.
rolling it.
When I rolled Seth, we each took our
So do
dice.
you have some of them here?
I do.
We each took our dice and rolled a couple of times.
Well,
Y'all,
show the
y'all keep
listeners.
talking. I want to see them.
Yeah,
And I pretty much with my dice, I pretty much evened my span. I 2 or 3 of each number. You know,
I didn't.
So good radio. I'm opening the package to get the feel
Yeah.
for these dice.
yeah. Let's hear them.
So all right. Let's see.
Oh,
That's a good range of
Oh.
numbers.
yeah. No 6s though. Look at Spike
No-
Mike
no-
not doing
No-
very
no
well.
sixes.
He didn't roll all of them. There's
But-
two
but-
more.
He
but-
did. He's got the 2 6s are in the bag.
Yeah, I actually only made 4 of my Fire Slayer saves. So, but they do feel good. I
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
the
isn't the size good?
I thought he was about to say, now I get to re-roll.
Yeah, well, he does though.
Yeah,
That's how it would be.
And they're kind of like a blue translucent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of have that.
Fits with the
Fits either
Night
army.
Hawk.
Well,
Night
could fit.
Hawk.
Also
Well,
could fit
either
with,
Could
one.
also fit with the
electrids of the sacrosanct.
Nice.
I think I rolled.
You rolled a lot of ones.
Out of 12 dice, I rolled 5 1s, 3 2s, and
Yeah.
I did
There
roll
you
2
go.
6s.
Whoa! All right, Wyatt's broken.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, see,
That's
those
a lot
are,
of sixes
those are,
and
it's just me.
5s.
It's not the dice.
Yeah, no, because when I rolled,
It's
Seth,
always you.
yeah,
It's always
you just have you need to figure out your technique. Like
We're gonna have
maybe
to
do like
play-
a 2-hand jumble.
I think
you
my
try
hands
something different.
are too
We're gonna
hot.
have to add to our
They're too
miniatures.
hot.
My hands are too hot, and it alters the weight of the dice when I roll.
I,
them.
Maybe.
I like these. 4
You have cold
sixes.
hands,
Yeah.
Wyatt. That's what.
Cold-
The other cool thing about the new Stormcast, if you're a Stormcast player, is about half of these models are female sculpts.
Nice.
Which is, it's super cool. Just because it's not, it's not just that they like put a bust on them or something. Like the shape of their bodies are different and they look feminine. Which is, I think, in a nameless, faceless, air quotes army, that's kind of neat. To have, now, I've reversed my position on the concept of Stormcast always needing helmets because some of the ones that don't have helmets look super cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any of them here, but in the easy to build Sequitors box, it comes with like 3.
Yeah, I saw some of the ones.
The
without
one that
helmets.
has, she's got like the Seth haircut, like
Yep.
it's shaved all around the sides,
Yep.
and she just got the
Because
top knot
describing
piece.
against the Seth haircut is
Right.
good radio
Yeah,
too.
right.
But
I'm
yeah,
not
but
uploading
yeah,
a
kind of
selfie.
shaved on the side.
Yeah, shaved on the side and just has like the bit and the faux hawk, but it's not like a sticking up mohawk or anything.
There's some of the artwork of her.
Oh yeah, like on the cover. Well,
Yeah,
she's not the
she's
one
the
on the.
cover.
She's the one on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah, she's on the cover.
Yeah, such a just cool image. But the models themselves they look really cool. I like the new Stormcast with the robes and whatnot.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're going away from faceless a little bit because especially with how the lore is changing.
Oh yeah,
where
Stormcast
they've
got a
been-
little dark.
They've been reforged so many times that they can't erase what happened to them. So, especially now with the Sacrosanct Chamber, they're kind of coming into their own. Like, I know that I've died like 30,000 times.
Well, see, that's the only part of the lore that doesn't seem to make sense because the Sacrosanct Chamber hasn't died a whole bunch yet.
But they're the ones that have seen it.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're the ones that did the reforging.
Yeah. So I mean, they know, maybe not personally, but they know like what's happened,
Right.
And
Well, and that gradual loss of humanity,
yeah,
with each death,
where they just turn
little
into
bit more.
lightning geists.
Yeah.
Like geez,
Oh, what a great Malign Portent story.
it was.
That was insane.
And for those that haven't finished Malign Portents, it is a great segue into Soul Wars.
Oh yeah,
It was
and also
fantastic.
my hope that rats will
They played a big part in everything.
Rats are coming.
Oh, that is my favorite line. And was it? And the Great Horned Rat. He's too weak.
Wait, what?
Niggling in the back of his mind. Like I was saying, and the Great Horned Rat, he's niggling in the back of his mind, and then cuts to what's actually happening, and it's like, oh, it all comes together.
Way to go, Nagash.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Yep.
That's what you get for being pompous. Didn't learn last time he died for 3,000 years.
All right. So, anything else
No,
Grips?
we went to bed because I'm an old man last night, and I woke up this morning at 7.
You're an old man.
Well, the other thing that I did was I built most of the Malign Sorceries box last night, too.
Look
We've got a couple of them here.
amazing.
We have the Ravanax Gnashing Jaws, which is this big red mouth with huge fangs that poked me a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then we built the purple. I built the Purple Sun last night as well.
Did that poke you a lot?
Which also
It looked
That-
like it would poke you a lot.
Like, it hurt a lot.
It looks like it would hurt a
It's
lot.
real pokey, real spiky. But it's a cool model. Like, it's one, like, usually even with push fit, I still glue it. I didn't put any glue on this guy.
Yep.
It's a really cool, the concept of how they were like, how are we going to make a 4-inch diameter ball as a model
Yep.
and get it to not be a pain in the butt to put together?
And still make it push to fit.
Yeah, because I mean, normally this would have just been a whole bunch of sections that had overlaps, and you'd had to glue everything,
Yep, and would have
and trying to get the
had to get it lined up just right.
trying
or
to get
you're
the
gonna have a big
science to
gap.
work would have
Yep.
been bad. But no, in the push to fit version, it has a frame in the middle that you stick the frame all together, and it's got little arms that stick off, and it's all coded by letter. So as you put the parts together, you can look at it and say, all right, where does this one go? Oh, this one says it's, J, K, and M. All right, so I find J, K, and M, get the J to line up, and then just smash it together. And I mean, it's still, looking at it, I'm still going to have to do some filling on the gaps for some of the pieces. Just because.
Yeah, I would just paint it.
Yeah, I would just paint it.
I mean, you could. But some of the gaps they're just a little too big for my liking. But I'm not, they're small enough that it like wouldn't even have to be gap filler.
Yeah.
Like I could literally put plastic glue on it and just let
The 12
melt
inch
the
rule
gap.
applies. It doesn't really show from 12 inches away.
No, it doesn't.
So,
It doesn't. But
So it's good.
But I don't know.
Because that's what I live by, the 12 inch rule.
I don't know they're there
Yeah, I know.
because I've seen it this close when I was building it.
You and Tila both.
Yeah.
Y'all are the pick up the model and examine it
Yeah.
closely people. That looks great.
I mean, for
The
those
good
that
thing
aren't
is,
seen
the other thing is
12
the
inches away and it
seams
looks
aren't,
great.
the gaps aren't so big that you're going to have to use putty or anything. Like you could literally just put super glue over the hole and let it harden, or put plastic glue over it and really hold it together for a while and let it start to melt.
Yeah.
And that'll cover your gaps.
The other nice thing, and I don't know about the others because you just brought these two over today, and I haven't.
I just
seen,
wanted to bring the
I
big
haven't
ones.
seen the others. With the colored plastic,
Mhm.
not that you would necessarily want to.
It doesn't make
because-
sense on a
because-
lot of the other ones.
because you're going to want to get, especially like the fangs and stuff like that. You're going to want to get some paint on them at some point if you're any type of hobbyist. But you could literally get them together and just drop them on the table.
Yeah, to be fair, the Purple Sun, I'm actually considering just hitting it with a clear adhesion promoter, which is basically clear primer, and then just dry brushing it.
Yeah.
And go because I
I mean,
mean
that's what I was thinking.
because the only thing
pop
about
some
the
dry brush on it.
it's really shiny plastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tone that down and get some highlights with some dry brushing,
just
and
do
you
some
could
dry
literally be done.
Because I mean, if you paint it all out, you're probably going to prime it gray, and then paint it almost this exact same color purple.
Right. It's a
To
really
start.
pretty purple.
Yeah, the other, like I said, the other ones don't make
Well,
nearly as
and
much
the
sense.
jaws, really all you need is some different warm color
Oh, you just dry brush some
dry brush on that.
for the flames
And maybe
to make
something
them
with
move.
the fangs, just
Yeah, do
depending
the
on if you
fangs.
want to do them a little bit different.
The chronomantic cogs are on the silver frame. It's like a chrome. It's not really bright chrome plastic, but it's just a little bit shinier than the regular gray plastic. They were on there. I got those put together last night. The pendulum is on there. Pretty much just paint the smoke on that and pick out some of the details. You can leave it that silver. But I like how they did them in the colored plastic to where you can, because they're somewhere between models and terrain pieces.
Yep.
So, you don't want to put tons and tons of time into getting them painted.
No, you don't.
Now, some of them that don't work. The burning head was on the blue frame.
Oh, that's not good at
So
all.
Do a blue fire.
it's really dark blue.
Oh.
The blue frame, it's like, now this is great radio as I show it to Mike, but like it's the color of the handle of my
Yeah,
clippers.
that's dark blue.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
dark.
really
It is
Yeah.
distinctly dark blue.
But no, I mean it's a fun kit to put together. It comes with a really great book. We'll probably do a whole episode on Malign Sorceries.
Yeah, probably so.
Because we'll have the faction specific
The
factions
faction
by that
ones, the new
point as
Night
well.
Night Hunt / Nagash.
And the Stormcast ones. The
Yeah,
Stormcast guy
Nighthunt's coming out.
Your Stormcast wizards can get a hoverboard
A hoverboard and a tornado and a comet.
and a death comet.
Yeah.
Death comets are awesome.
It's pretty much a death comet.
It really is. That one is gross.
It's got a huge range, but Yes, I mean that's what I've done and what Seth and I did with the new box.
Yeah, I was really glad you brought those two over because I was wanting to see some of the endless.
Well, here's the thing: was
models.
before I came over, I was like, I'm going to take the Purple Sun because everyone wants to see that one, and but I wanted to bring the big ones and show them to you, but I didn't have this one put together, and I took a shower before I came over. I got in a shower at like 2:30.
Oh wow!
And I got dried off a dress and sat down and built that before I came over, and I think I still was here like right at 3.
Yeah, and we like you said, we were getting together to record at 3. So
that's how quick the Gnashing Jaws went together, and that was cleaning all of the because that's the other thing. These kits, oh my gosh!
So many
Make sure you have really
them.
good clippers. Looking at this, what is this guy called? The Gnashing Jaws. So he's basically his 2 halves, his top half, and then his bottom teeth, right? That's the 4 parts of it. These side pieces, it's like 14 connections to this.
Oh my gosh!
I think the worst one we looked at was
the Palisade.
Thankfully, look at him closer.
Thankfully, it was on the bottom of the Palisade, but it was like 12 across the bottom of it, and it's 6 inches long.
Just a wall.
Yeah,
and had that many.
Yeah.
Well, they want to make sure they don't get broken.
Well, you know what I did say? I did
awesome
not trim those at all.
Oh, really?
I clipped it off on the bottom and then just jammed it into the base piece. I was like, well, it'll go in as far as it can go.
It's supposed to be taller.
Well, I took it upside down and smashed it against my cutting board a couple of times.
Just to make sure.
I was like, oh, that's in there tight. That's good.
Yeah, I was reading the rules for that one and looking at the artwork in the book. And the artwork,
I almost wish the artwork followed the model followed, because in the artwork that thing's 70, 80 feet tall.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The Stormcasts that are running around at the base of it are teeny. There's a guy on a Griff Charger. It's super teeny. This giant prismatic wall.
Yeah,
because the rules are you can't see anybody behind it. You just straight up can't see anybody.
Blocks line of sight. If the line between the center of your base and the center of their base crosses that model at all.
Yeah. And
nice.
It just doesn't do it justice. I mean, it's a really cool model, especially when you paint it up, but I wish it was a little taller.
Is that both ways, though, or is it like a one-way mirror?
It's
It's
a wall.
Okay.
It's a wall.
Two-way
Cool.
mirror.
Cool.
So you put your wizard right next to it so they can see. And you put your chronomantic cogs behind it so no one can see your chronomantic cogs, and then they don't get dispelled.
Yeah, right?
There you go.
They got to dispel one before the other.
Yeah.
And then I'll just use one of my extra castings to bring it back.
Yeah, I'll just bring it right back. I didn't bring it over here, but it's huge. The Soul Tide or Grave Tide.
The Grave Tide.
Oh my, it's huge. It's this big.
This big. Good radio.
Right, yeah. I'm showing you.
It has to be wholly within 4 inches.
And it's about 3.5 inches across.
Yeah, so literally you put it right in front of you and then let it loose.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how big it is.
Yeah, it's probably 8 inches across and about 3.5 inches wide. So you have to put it directly centered in front of touching your guy's base pretty much.
Yeah.
And then it just
rolls forward.
Yeah, I do love that model though.
It's pretty neat looking. It's like skulls on a wave.
That's
neat.
pretty cool.
It's really neat. It's pretty cool.
Imagine that Games Workshop that's got skulls in it.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
That's new.
No. I mean, they built a sun with a skull in it.
Yep. All right, so we're like almost 45 minutes into the podcast. So
it's a good thing that AoS 1 was so awful, so we don't really have much of a retrospect.
That's true. Because what we thought we would do is a retrospect of AoS 1 since AoS 2 released today.
Yep.
So I guess to talk about AoS 1, we kind of need to go back to End Times a little bit. Which of course, that was when when the End Times publication started. That was actually when I took a hiatus from playing any of the new stuff. I still had my army, still played 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles, but did not do anything with any of the new stuff. Quit buying books, because some of the rules for some of the models was just stupid. I mean, it was intended to be unbalanced, and I know that, but it was ridiculous. Now, I know a lot of people played it, and I'll probably get some hate stuff from the people that played it and loved it. That's you. And I've said before, you be you. I'm going to be me. I didn't like that.
Well,
so-
I watched Mini Wargaming did a big End Times
Yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy Battle scenario, and I've watched a lot of those, and it looked really fun. What was the thing? I quit playing Warhammer Fantasy when it went from 6 to 7. That was when I sold my Skaven.
Yeah. But and I didn't quit playing. I just didn't get any of the new stuff. And another reason was they were publishing stuff. Good gosh, every month that if you were going to play the End Times, you needed to get it because it was new rules, new stuff. You didn't have to necessarily get all of the models because if you weren't playing the army that had that, then you didn't need it, obviously. But, of course, End Times rolled through, and as they got to the end of that publication, they blew up the world.
Yep.
And, of course, then the supposition there was, a lot of people were saying, well, that's it. Warhammer
Game
Fantasy
over.
is dead. It's gone.
And it was.
And that was true. People like me were like, no, they're going to totally revamp the game. Predicted. No more rank and flank. They're going to round base like they do with 40K. Had a lot of people predicting that. I agreed with those predictions.
Thank goodness, too. I played a few games of Fantasy Battle, and I did not enjoy it at all.
I enjoyed it.
It's a game style.
Yeah. It certainly is just that, a game style. The one thing that I was looking forward to with the round bases is precisely what it's a lot more freeform.
Mm-hmm.
It's faster to set up to play a game because you're not having to get all your models ranked up on your little movement trays, and so it's a little bit faster to get your models out and on the table to play. But then, of course, Age of Sigmar released, and Games Workshop really just totally botched that release, in my opinion.
It's Age of Sigmar ? Because apparently that was one of the main issues, was they didn't know what it was going to be. They just knew that it was going to be
Right.
new.
Yep.
Well, so here's the thing. I don't think they botched the release.
They botched the PR around the release. Is
Oh,
what
yeah,
I mean
well,
by
because you
that.
were still old. You still had the old CEO.
Right.
They didn't
And-
know
and-
how to
and- and
they
it was-
didn't know how to release stuff to a community.
Right, and it was basically, here's your 4-page rule set. Have fun. Just throw your models on the table and have fun. Zero guidance.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, that's what we did.
Well, yeah.
We went with it.
Now, as the new CEO took over, because I don't want to go into all the ifs and that, but basically the community, because they're people that just love this game, they kind of took over and said, well, okay, if you're not going to give us any guidance, we're going to figure out a way to develop our own.
Yeah. Well, I think when they released Age of Sigmar, I think they released it with the idea of this is just a beer and pretzels game.
Yep.
There's no real, it's just to throw models on the table and have fun.
I think they underestimated how serious most of the fans actually were
Yeah, I think so.
about it.
Well, because here's the thing. You blow up the world at the end of the End Times.
Uh-huh.
And then what happens? You've got, Mike, you had Nurgle, you had
Dark
Elves, you had huge
I had
dwarves.
I had a huge dwarf.
So what do you do with all these people who have, now granted, it was, their sales were a small portion of their overall, sales numbers.
Right.
But you still had people that were still playing the game that had tons and tons of
They
models.
had tons and tons of models.
So, you're not just going to, you don't just abandon those people. So they put AoS out as, all right, yeah, well, you've got all your models. Here's how they work now.
Here's what you can do to play.
If you don't want to use the old rules and keep playing fantasy battles with them, this is the new thing we're offering. And they offered up new armies, with Stormcast and Bloodbound.
Yep.
And, I think if they had taken the time, if Age of Sigmar had released in the current era, yes, you would have had a much different release. I think it really showed that the new CEO, when he came on board, they really are listening to the community. Because what did the community say? We're going to create a way to have points. We're going to create a way to have balance. And what did they do? They released a General's Handbook.
Yep.
And
brought really the leaders of that community in to help develop the 2016 General's Handbook. 2015 was release of Age of Sigmar.
That was the release, yeah.
Yep.
So we're 3 years later from the original release with this new release, and I think it just shows they've listened to the community. They've changed up some of the rules in the new release, and I think that's good.
Absolutely.
That the game shows that, hey, we're going to listen to what you we're not necessarily going to take every change that you want.
So especially with the clarification is the main thing for me that I like, the wording clarification and all the facts that they've released. It's like constant. Yeah, that's not what we intended. So here you go. Right. Right.
Well, and the correction of some of their previous rulings. One of the current FAQs that they ask specifically about Lord Croak, and War Scrolls that say you can cast the same spell more than one time. In match play, can they cast the same spell more than one time? Well, the FAQ was no. If you're playing match play, they can only cast a spell one time. Well, that's what Lord Croak does.
Yeah, that's
kind of his thing.
To be fair, it's not the same spell because it has a different casting value.
Right. But that's his thing.
Yeah.
The FAQ was, no, you can only cast a spell once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if y'all have seen the most recent FAQ.
No, not all of it.
War Scroll takes precedent over Core Rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which is how it should be.
Makes sense.
I mean, if you look at any other miniatures game, any other complex game like that, even like Magic or something like that, the rule on the card, the rule on the scroll, the rule on the unit takes precedent over the core rule. And with their first interpretation with Lord Croak, they went against that, which everybody in the hobby expects, well, this is going to take precedent because this is specific for this model. And they didn't rule it that way to start with. And people are like, what? They reversed that. They listened to the community and paid attention to how the game really probably should be played.
Yeah. But, I think looking back on AoS, because I got into AoS with you and Ryan.
Right. Shortly after.
No, right before the General's Handbook came out. Was when I got into it.
That's true. It had been out almost a year.
Yep.
We were already using the South Coast point system.
But no, we sat down.
That Ben and Dan Heelan. I can't remember the other guy's name right now. I'm drawing a blank. But basically they developed that rule set for the UK competitive group.
Mm-hmm. But I liked. I think one of my favorite things about first edition, I guess is what we can call it now, was the release the release of the General's Handbook, and how it gave us different ways to play, but it was also what brought me back into quote unquote fantasy,
right?
Because when I sold off my Skaven at the end of 6th edition, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, I went right back into 40K and started buying 40K models. And I liked that style. I was like, that was why I sold it. Because I was like, this rank and flank it's just not fun. There's people, if you like it.
And there are people that love it.
Yeah,
and like I said, you be you.
Yeah, they still play 8th edition, 7th edidition.
I think I just didn't like it because I had Wood Elves. But.
Yeah. 9th Age or,
they call it 9th Age.
What's the other? Kings of War.
Kings of War.
Yeah. There's plenty of
rank and
people
flank.
that still enjoy rank and file. And if you when I first started playing with my Skaven, I really liked it because, my whole table side was covered.
Yeah.
And the other guy would have 3 or 4 trays. And I'm like, I got 200 clan rats.
Of course, half of yours would make the other half of yours run away.
That's true. That is very true. I just eventually got tired of doing it that way because I started in 40K with, freeform and coherencies and those kinds of things, and when I was in high school, and so that was the thing I think about Age of Sigmar was I really like high fantasy stuff, but I don't like the military aspect of Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Right. And so Age of Sigmar gave you that less militaristic rank
more
and file.
Free form.
Yeah, where you just kind of throw the models down and you move them about and make sure they stay a certain distance away from each other.
I can't even tell you the number of times. And I loved 6th edition is about where I started playing. I think that's about right. It might have been 5th. But that's right about the point that I started playing, because my son expressed an interest in it. And so we started playing, and all the way up through 8th, loved it. I mean, I had a great time playing it. But I can't tell you the number of times that I'd play a game with somebody, and finish up, and was like, "We gonna play another game?" And kind of look at the clock and go, "Nah, I really just don't have time." Why? Because I have to pick up all those separate models and re-rank them all up before you even set up the table to play. And I was like, I just really don't feel like putting all those models back on the tray again. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and pack up and be done after the one game.
Now
it's like, yeah, sure, let's play another game, and then just roll off and start deploying your.
When I played Rank and File, I had separate trays to dead them into. Just for that reason.
Just for that reason, yeah.
Oh, that's too much.
Which honestly was one of the things that was nice at that time, because about 7th, maybe 8th edition, the first edition of Kings of War came out.
Yeah.
And that was actually one of the things that was nice about it was you don't take models off. The unit breaks. When the unit breaks, the unit is removed from battle because it either fled or it got wiped out.
And you just have a wound counter on the rank.
And you just keep a wound counter on it, and you literally, and there are people to this day.
Oh, they make beautiful dioramas.
Because the rule for competitive play is you have to have at least 50% of the model count for the unit on the tray, which first of all makes it a lower cost point to get in because you don't have to buy as many models. But the other thing that makes it beautiful is people make diorama trays because half their tray is models, the other half is terrain.
Yep,
that's really cool.
And so they really
we were in Crucible last year. There was a guy that had some
beautiful.
There was a guy that, I think it was like the Lizardman equivalent army.
Yeah,
for thing. He had these trees that were all in his on the movement tray, and like some of the lizards would be like hanging from the trees, and there was one that was like pole vaulting with his spear, and it was just super cool that his 30 lizard tray had 15 or 20 on it, but it was a beautiful diorama.
Yeah. And his whole army was that way.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole army was beautiful on the table.
So cool.
But the nice thing is you literally glue that unit together. They are that tray, that diorama. So when it's lost, you just pick it up. And so if you're, let's play another game. Okay, sure. And then you just set the trays back out.
That's pretty cool. So that would have been better for...
Yeah. But, and if I were going to play a rank and file, rank and flank, as some people call it, game again, it would probably be Kings of War.
Yeah.
Like any game, and Age of Sigmar is also, even 2nd edition is going to be the same way. There is no game that is perfect. They are all too complex to cover all the possible parameters. But that'd probably be the one of that type that I would lean to just because it's fast. It's also designed to be played with a chess clock, which is actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
So because on your turn you make all the rolls, you make all the die rolls. So you have literally so much time to get your turns in because if the general can't make up their mind fast enough, your army's going to lose.
Yeah. You just get killed.
You get killed. So it's pretty cool. But I digress as per usual.
Yeah.
So where were we talking about? What part of? Well, 2016. The first.
Yeah, I was kind of going. I was just kind of talking about why, the cool part for me about AoS was getting me back in. So I guess everybody can kind of just talk about a part of what it was about AoS that made why we're playing it or whatever.
Yeah, because I did the same thing. I started in War Machine, so I started somewhat freeform game, and then I went into Warhammer because I love the Warhammer world. But I hated Warhammer Fantasy Battle. Going from War Machine to Warhammer Fantasy Battles was like...
I can imagine doing that.
It's so structured, yeah.
I was like... I played 2 games. I think I was like, nah, I'm done with this. Thank goodness that was like at the end of 7th and then going into the 8th edition, and I was like, I'm not really interested in this. I went and played 40K, and then ended up moving for like 2 years, and when I came back, AoS was out, and I was like, yeah, I got some stuff from before. Let me play this. It's all the same stuff, right? And oh my god, it was amazing.
Yeah. And about the time that the GHB came out was when Mark III came out and War Machine died.
Yeah. In our area, it's still really popular in some other areas.
I loved War Machine when I started playing it. I thought it was great. It was so fun.
Well, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I was press ganger for our area for War Machine and Hordes, and I tried. I with Mark III when it came out, I tried. I'd schedule an event, and I just could not get people to show up. The only people that were showing up were the diehards that just wanted to play War Machine and Horse. I don't think it would matter what the edition was.
In our meta, when Mark III came out, you knew who was going to win every single time.
Yes.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter who you went up against. The two guys that played Legion of Everblight won every single thing.
Yep.
Because Legion of Everblight was so broken when Mark III came out.
Yeah, when it first released. Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, that was the other thing that sort of pushed me into AoS was War Machine dying here.
Yeah.
And because I remember the first game that I played with you and Ryan, we played a 3-way, and Ryan had his custom Stonehorn.
Oh yeah,
it's made out of the Tyranid,
which is an awesome looking model.
It's a ridiculous model. And so I played.
It's got the Frost Lord on top of one of those. What's the Tyranid model?
Termagon.
That's right. Yeah, on top of that thing, and it looks amazing.
Yeah. But so like my first game of AoS that I played was with my Crix. So I was playing Bloodbound, and so like my jacks were Korgoraths, and my units of Bane Thralls were like Blood Warriors. And
when Wes came over, we had already. I think Ryan had already played a game, and said, come on, we'll show you how to play. And he's like, well, I don't have any AoS models. All I've got are my. Get them, man. Just get some models on the table to represent, and we'll show you how to play it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that.
And I didn't know what Battle Shock was.
Yeah.
I remember when I learned very quickly what Battle Shock was. I sent a unit of 30 Blood Reavers into that Stonehorn,
and they evaporated.
I did like 2 wounds to him, which he turned down to 1.
Back when it was broken.
Back when it was
and then he came in and he killed like 14 in 1 turn. And I was like, all right.
Yeah,
and Mike was like, all right, Battle Shock.
Battle Shock.
I was like, so wait, what do I do? He's like, just roll a d6. And I rolled a 6. So I was like, well, Mike goes, well, there goes the other 16 of them. You lose 20 models. I was like, blah!
It's like 6 plus 14 is 20. What's their bravery? It's 5. It's like, oh, well, they're good. 15 more.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, well, that's the unit.
I need to interject on this because this is relevant. I played a game with Tila, and probably one of the reasons she got mad at me was because I was playing regular death, and so the skeletons had -1 bravery. Because of the standard, they replaced the bring back models with the -1 bravery. So, okay. So then I was taking Overwhelming Dread, which is the -1 to hit, -1 bravery. She had a brick of 30 Witch Elves about to crash into my skeletons. And I was like, I have 1 shot. Let's go. Let me get the -1 to hit. Maybe that'll help. So I rolled it. I rolled a 10. Unmodified 10. Means I get to cast it twice.
So you dropped it on him twice?
I dropped it on him twice.
Oh!
I should preface this with my general had everybody that runs within 12 inches, another one runs. They had a -3 bravery, my skeletons, and because I was less points, I had the reroll wounds once per battle.
Oh my gosh.
So all of my skeletons poured into that unit because, of course, I took spears because they're the same to hit. You just get all of them in there. So I wiped out like 15 of her girls. They were -3 bravery. Adding all that together, she rolled like a 5. They can even roll 2 dice and take the highest. She rolled 2 5s.
Yeah, take the lowest.
Take the lowest, yeah. She rolled 2 5s. So it was that. It was 15 plus the 5 minus, I think, her bravery of like 3.
She should have brewed them up.
And then... No, she brewed up the other unit that crashed in and decimated.
Well, there's the beautiful thing about AoS, too. You could have just used your command point and be like, they're immune to Battle Shock.
Yep.
They're going to hang around.
But she didn't.
But what AoS did?
She didn't have any... well, we were playing a mix. Because it was like... It was right on the cusp of the rules coming out.
Yeah.
And but she had used her command point to teleport them over there to charge into me. And which would have worked out beautifully. But, so they just ran. All of them just ran. And I was like, this is beautiful.
Yep.
So
I would probably run from that many skeletons that are hacking up my butts.
Yeah, especially when they just came back.
and there's no blood to collect for the cauldrons.
No,
so,
that's true. Yeah, there was literally
no reason to stick around there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really liked with the development as they went forward with AoS, with the General's Handbook, and then GHB 2017, and then rolling into the new core set, is even though there was like no guidance with the initial release, they did talk about, obviously open play, and then they started talking about narrative play, and then people coming up with their own points. People weren't really calling it match play at the time, but it became what was known as match play. 2016, they formalized those 3 styles of play.
Which for us is really good because,
Yeah, right.
I'll tell you, when the last, couple of months where we've been doing the Path to Glory warbands, I've had more fun playing those games.
Yeah.
Where points weren't an issue, and I just had units that made sense together.
Yep.
That's been...
And make a nice narrative battle out of it. Even though you generate the objectives randomly, but then you tell a story behind why your guys are getting that and going for it. But then not just that, they kept that all the way through, all the way into the new rules. We've got 3 styles of play. Open play if you just want to throw the models, narrative, and then, of course, match play using the points. But then they came out with the skirmish rules, which was really cool, and I want to play some more of those games, because that's a lot of fun, especially if you just want several fast games.
Well, the cool thing is, too, that they've, in everything that's come out since skirmish came out, they always have the little skirmish variant that's in there, whether it's a battle tome that has like a skirmish battle plan. The malign sorceries, it tells you how to use the spells. In your in your games. There's a battle. Oh my god, I can't wait till we talk about that. There's a battle plan in that book. This is ridiculous. 2 armies are lined up like Dawn of War style, and from the left or the right side of the board, every turn there's a wave that's just 15 inches that just pushes across the battlefield. And it does stuff when it goes over your units.
Yeah. And there's 5 battle plans.
I think there were 5.
Malign sorcery.
There's 5 regular battle plans. There's 2 match play battle plans, like pitch battles, in the Malign Sorcery book. There's a couple of skirmish and a couple of Path to Glory.
Nice.
In Malign Sorceries.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, Malign Sorceries, you can use them as... There's a table for Malign Sorceries. A follower table for Malign Sorceries for Path to Glory.
Wow.
Yeah. If you roll a 6, you get the sun.
Oh, God. Dear Lord.
I love, though, with the fact, speaking of the 3 different plays, somebody wanted to clarify the question of, can you have more than one named character in the types of play? And they're like, not in your pitched battles.
Right.
But you can in open and narrative play.
Although in narrative, it might not make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but they're like, I mean, most people don't, because it's not like you can have 2 Nagashes in narrative play.
It doesn't really fit in narrative.
There's only one.
But there's no rule against it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
For narrative, there's no rule against it. Although, if I'm playing a narrative battle against you and you bring 2 unique characters, I'm going to call you out in narrative game.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Look, there's not 2 Michael Hickses on the opposite side of the table against.
Right.
How are you having 2 of this guy?
Yeah. You can't have 2.
You will just play open play where you're right.
The only time that you could do a narrative play game and have 2 of the same named character would be in Warhammer 40k. Or no, it'd be in Warhammer 30k. I guess technically still alive in 40k. I'm Alfarius. No, I'm Alfarius.
So I know we're more talking about not asking questions, but that kind of just made me think of the question,
you would have
not knowing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm the new guy at the table. Okay. So with the different realm aspects, where does that line draw as far as unique names? How do you put unique named character from one realm vice to another?
Well, no. So the mortal realms,
all of the mortal realms are within the same reality.
Yeah. Yep.
So
the name characters are from their specific realm.
Visualize it as different countries here, different continents.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the easiest way to think
got
about
Michael
it.
Hicks in North America.
Mm-hmm.
There's not another Michael Hicks in Australia that is me.
Gotcha.
There could be someone else named Michael Hicks, but they're not me.
Yeah, he's got the same name. He ain't got the same abilities.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's
yeah.
But yeah. So
I'm just picturing somewhere
they do a really cool
they're
job.
The different realms are not different.
See, I was thinking like more
Parallel
like
universes.
multiverse.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not multiverse.
It's in the same universe.
Yeah, they're
you just take portals to get there. It's whatever.
They're all over the place apparently.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
But they do a really cool job in the new core book explaining how the realms are formed. They're actually physical manifestations of magic.
Yep.
Oh man, that lore is so cool.
That's another thing that, of course, when Age of Sigmar first released, one of the biggest complaints, even from friends of mine that had played 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battles, had armies. Now, I just can't get into it. There's no lore. I'm like, well, it's brand new. Give them a chance.
Yeah.
We're only 3 years in.
Yeah, they've done all right.
There's tons of lore. I can't even keep up with it all anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just reading through the, I know I keep going back to some of the new stuff, but man, look at that Malign Sorceries book, like where it talks about the Realm Stone and all.
Yeah.
Man, there's just there is some thick fluff for the new book, release, and I'm glad that they made a real rule book. The 4 pages of rules was great, I think, but just for simplifying. But there's something about playing, whether it's a RPG or a tabletop war game or something where, now granted, I don't want to have a stack of like 9 codexes like I had to in 7th edition Warhammer 40k.
Right.
But, like having that core rule book as just a hard copy, it's a big fat tome. It smells like new paper and, it's got the big bookmark in it. There's something about having that hard copy that's cool.
There's also something about the ability to sell your game with having a rule book that has... You've got your section of it that's the actual rules part, and they've done this with most of the games that I've played have done this with it. You've got the section that's the actual, okay, here's your rules. Here's some fluff. Here's some examples of armies painted up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like
and when you're at a table playing at a game store or something, and someone comes up and starts asking about the game, I mean, it's really cool, and it's a really good way to actually draw someone into the game. It's like, yeah, here, thumb through this.
Yeah.
And they start, oh, wow.
Or check out this artwork, check out this. And I think GW does a great job of that. And I think that was one of the things that they missed at the beginning of AoS, was that they didn't drop a tome to explain
what's going on.
Especially if you didn't play the end times, and you didn't know what had happened.
You had no idea what was going on.
At least in the core rules. Now, when AoS dropped, they dropped several campaign books that explained
the campaign books had the information. That was the start of the fluff and the story behind it.
But I mean, it wasn't contained within, and so that's one thing I really like about the second.
Because it was 4 pages of rules, and that was all they dropped.
Right.
Now, with that said, one thing that I do like, and y'all have probably looked at it in the app, the rules part of the app, if you go to the rules part, is just the rules.
Yep.
It's 16 pages now, but it's just, so you still have access to get to, okay, I just want to see the rules. So, if you have the app and you don't want to buy the rule book.
Oh, no, even in the
and you can download the PDF of them.
You can, in the core box, you've got the big heavy rule book that has the rules. But then it has I think it's called the core book. No, that's the big book is the core book. There's one that's just the rules.
Yeah.
It's just
it's called Core Rules.
Is it called Core Rules? Yeah, it's just a paperback,
and it's
stapled
probably
together.
less than 16 pages. Cause
it's the rules.
Well, I'm saying it's probably got all the rules, but it's probably less than the 16 that's in the app, because one thing I noticed and it may not be.
It seems to be about that size.
But one of the things I noticed with the original 4-page rule set, in the app it was 6 pages.
Well, they add more stuff in the core rules that aren't core rules so much as like explanations and more in-depth stuff. They give examples of things and stuff like that. It's not just the rules, it's how does this rule apply in this example kind of thing. Like it should be.
Yeah, which is good.
And the app is quick, like, wait, what is this? You look in there, oh yeah, that.
Yeah, I haven't. I need to update my app and purchase my GHB. But yeah, I mean, I think AoS it's the game that I play the most.
Well, and I would say if you stop playing it, you probably are not listening to our podcast anyway. But if you happen to listen to our podcast and you had quit playing because there wasn't enough fluff in the game, take a look at it again.
Yeah. Because
it's a lot of fun to play. You'll enjoy pulling your old army off the shelf if you didn't burn it like someone burned their Dark Elves when it first released.
That guy.
Unless you play Bretonnian.
And you've got the story and you've got the background. Start reading it. Not all of it's greatly written, but most of it is. Most of it's really well
more
written.
Fleshy.
They're more dead.
More dead and fleshy.
More dead and fleshy. But I thought of something else that I was going to mention and lost it because we got off on another tangent.
This whole thing is a tangent. I mean,
Yeah, today was a tangent. We just needed. I think between the stuff that Mike's having going on and me being sick,
we just needed some.
We just really
some
wanted
talk.
to sit down and just BS
talk.
about Warhammer for a minute.
I think we did that 20 minutes
that's-
beforehand anyway.
Yeah. We always did.
That's pretty much all we do on this thing anyway. I don't know why anybody actually listens.
But I'll tell you, coming up. I mean, we'll be back to our structured stuff with all the stuff that's coming out.
Oh my gosh,
so,
we've got so much stuff to cover.
I think we're going to take at least 2 episodes just to talk about the core book and the core rules. And
because you know us. I mean, okay, the rules are one thing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
But
fluff.
we're going to talk about the artwork, and we're going to talk about the fluff, and we're going to talk about the story.
100%. That's the reason I did not start reading it as soon as I got this, because I knew I wouldn't put the models together at all. I would have just sat there all morning and read the book.
Right.
So I had to get the models together first before I even
First
cracked
thing
it.
I did this morning when I got up was I went to the app, because I got the physical copy of the General's Handbook, but I knew I was going to get the digital copy of the core book first. So I went to the app, said, I wonder if they've updated. Bump, hit it, went to it. Yes, buy.
Yeah.
Read. And started reading it.
Yeah. But I mean, we're going to do an episode on probably just one episode talking about all the stuff in the line sorceries.
Yep.
We got obviously coming out for pre-order today, new battletomes for Stormcast and Night Haunt. So we'll do our normal battletome reviews.
And I'm gonna go ahead and go out there and tell our listeners this. Look, I do not plan on getting into a hurry to cover all of the aspects of each one. And yeah, we're planning on probably 2 episodes for the core book. If it takes us 3, so be it.
Yep.
If it takes us 3 to cover the malign spells and all of that, and just chat about that with all the stuff we want to talk about with it, so be it. And if that means we get behind a little bit, we get behind a little bit, and we'll just catch up as we catch up.
I mean, we're going to get excited and talk about the new stuff in the middle of the
old
Right,
stuff. So it's not really going to matter. But I'm excited about second edition. All the stuff I've been reading has me really looking forward to playing some official games in it.
Mm-hmm.
And since we kind of held off because of back orders, and then they're about to release a new edition, it's time for us to officially kick off our path to glory.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah, or
escalation.
An escalation.
Some sort of escalation. Yeah.
Which we have a new player, someone that I work with that plays D&D with us.
We're going to have to get her on the podcast eventually.
Getting into the Nurgles. Which that's great. She bought Blight War, the last box set.
Nice.
And she was like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy Blight War. I was like, what are you gonna do with the Stormcast? She's like, I don't know. It's like, I'll buy them from you. So I'm gonna be getting me some Vanguard chamber stuff to go with mine.
You're gonna have an awesome Stormcast army.
I'm gonna have a good with no original Stormcast.
Yeah. No Liberators.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the buff Liberators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just run the Lord Arcanum as my general in there in my battle line.
I don't want to crush your soul, but me and Wes were talking before this stuff came out about like how crazy the ballista was and all that kind of stuff, and take the Lord Ordinator with him, and they changed his command ability.
Did they really?
He does not have the double shoot command ability anymore. They took that away.
Oh, what does he have now?
It's some sort of it's still good, but it's not.
Does he still have the +1 to hit for Order War Machine?
Yes, he still does have that.
Then he's useful.
He's
That's
still
amazing.
worth taking.
I wasn't going to run him as my general anyway.
But yeah, he's not.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if his command ability doesn't require him to be the general now. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah,
so.
it's normal.
That's
I think
nice.
it's literally like some sort of hit buff or something like that. So I mean, it's really, really good. But it's not the 2 or 8 shots twice.
At 4
Each one is D6.
Yeah.
Garbage that it was gonna be.
That was gonna be. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing I was like telling Mike when I play my Sylvaneth. I'm going to take 340 points of allies. It's going to be 2 ballistas with a Lord Ordinator sitting in the middle of them.
Kill them all.
Nasty. Oh, that's gonna be nasty.
Just kill them all.
Yep. Just darken the sky.
And we do plan on recording some of this stuff, like with video eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to try and do
Well,
some
and we've got to do some more battle reports and things like that. I've done a few in the past. Very, very much, literally, what happened at the table is what was in the battle report, because I'm not computer savvy enough to do all the editing, but
well, that's the thing is, I can
that's
I
what
can
I
do
was
the
gonna
edit. It's
say. I
just
think Wes
it's
is going to be able to do that for us.
I would definitely love to put out some moderately polished as they're going to be for us. Let's be fair.
We are just gamers who like to talk about our game and decided it would be a cool idea to share our talking about our game.
Well, that's the thing. I think
it's totally amateur hour.
Seth and I were talking about this last night. We're not pro gamers. We're not great gamers by any stretch. We're just your basic everyday folks.
Yep.
Who talk. Like Mike's really good at strategies and like playing. So like he's got it, but the rest of us, we're just all schmucks.
Yep.
And so, we just like, I think that's why the Hammerheads stick around and keep listening to the podcast.
And Michael's not really that great at strategy because my strategies always my strategies always fall apart. It's just Michael's that competitive that I'm going to try to figure out a new strategy so that I can retreat out of battle to claim the objective to win the game.
Right.
But no, the main reason I want to record like video so people can believe that my dice
your dice are actually that
bad. Yeah.
We're going to find out that the real trick to getting you to roll well is to put it on camera.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Puts on the camera, just give me sixes.
Boom. And they're going to be like, what are you talking about? You never roll bad.
I have to change my whole outlook on life.
I find it funny for the great radio that Seth has foam in that box.
Yes, yeah. When he came over here and sat the models down for me to look at, I was like, wait a minute. Is that foam your models are in?
I had to take.
Who are you, and what happened to my friend?
I put them back in the box originally. I just put them in the box that they came in, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to put them in foam, the non-painted, clipped together, not even glued, new models.
Let's be fair. You got a bunch of fiddly bits there that could break off easy.
Yeah, fair warning to anybody who does put the Night Haunt stuff together. The Guardian of Souls, his arm will fall off if you look at it wrong. But other than that, nothing else.
Put some glue on that bad boy.
was an issue.
Yeah.
Everything else was great. Even the Lord Executioner with all the ghosts flying around him, I thought he was going to be a pain. No, it took me like 2 seconds to put that one together. And I didn't even use glue.
Nice.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I don't have anything else unless you guys do. I got a lot. I can sit here and just ramble about stuff like we are right now all night, but
I can talk about what I've read in Solar so far, but
oh man, I need to get that book.
We will get to that.
I read that the first preview chapter.
No, I haven't done it yet. I think you could just call us Nagash because I know we're laying the plans for some great work coming up pretty soon. I think we've been talking about it behind the scenes, so we'll.
You will see our plans come to fruition.
Yes. Hit you with the necroquake of information.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Well, in that case, until next time, Hammerheads, we will see you then. And as always, keep rolling those dice.
The SGWA would like to thank you for listening. We would also like to mention our theme music, the classic O Fortuna, as recorded by the MIT Concert Choir and used under common license. The Age of the Hammer is upon us.